Welcome to another round of Charleston Battery Weekly here with OSG Sports and STH Networks. Big week, big weekend to go over here with the Battery. It is 3 points on the line, a couple of matches in hand when it comes to life in Group H, behind the Tampa Bay Rowdies, who got to win midweek at the death against Atlanta United 2. We will go over the 1-0 win back on the 11th against Tampa Bay with Mike Kelleher, get our dose of Special K for the week, and Zeiko Lewis will be in the players' spotlight this week as we look at the game against Tampa and the game coming up Sunday evening at 6 at Patriots Point against the Miami SC in Group H. So this week it's Mike, it's Zeiko, it's you, and it's me. Around the corner, Mike Kelleher of the front office of the Charleston Battery for our weekly dose of Special K. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Georgia did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolinsky of Apolinsky & Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
We know that every driver is different, and a one-size policy does not fit all. That's why Country Financial offers a variety of discounts, so you get the coverage you need and the savings you deserve. From good driver to good student, multi-policy to multi-car, we've got a discount to suit every driver. Call Jason Wright at 678-568-6871 today to see what you could save. On Facebook at Jason Wright Agency or by phone at 678-568-6871. Discounts vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, or Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Welcome back, Charleston Battery Weekly. It's the A block, which means it's Special K. Time to catch up with Mike Kelleher. And Mike, you continue to be the boogeyman for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Well done on the 1-0 win.
Thanks, John. Much appreciated. Yeah, it was a good night last weekend.
When you look at, I guess, the overall from a match like that, it seems like you have a veteran side in Tampa Bay who normally their average age for their starting 11s is usually around 27, 28 years old. A bit of a younger side for Charleston, and you're coming at it from two separate ways. You have a youthful team that has a lot of energy with what you've been able to build there in Charleston with some new faces this year, but then you go up against a team in Tampa Bay, where you have Leo Fernandez, you have Sebastian Guenzati, you have a familiar face at the back, a veteran side. When you saw those matchups evolving, what was it like to see that one come to the fore, where the young guys got to kind of assert themselves against Tampa Bay?
Yeah, John. I thought it was a thoroughly professional performance by ourselves last Friday night. I think it was almost a coming of age. You talk about young players, but which can often be regarded as fearless, I think, and with youth. But it was professional. It was I think almost more satisfying than the first victory over Tampa. That the job was done, and it was done effectively, I felt we thoroughly deserved the 3 points.
When you mention the word professional, I know that there are some fans who are on this side of the Atlantic, and they have this image of it being very workmanlike. It's lunch pail, it's hard hat. You're going out there and you have the task at hand. You went out and you did it. How would you best describe for someone who's learning the game the word professional when it comes to a game that you're watching?
I think the players stuck to the task, did their jobs well. The forwards created opportunities. The back four, include the goalkeeper, back five, didn't give Tampa a look in. I think everyone stuck to their role, understood their jobs, and came out with the 3 points, and worked effectively together as a unit. So that that's what I think would be the definition of a professional performance.
When you have guys like JVS at the back, Jared Van Schaik, Leland Archer, and they can move the ball and they can kind of force a veteran team side to side. And we all know about Tampa Bay when they like to push forward, they like to press, create short fields, turnovers and opportunities and things like that. But when you have versatility at the back with guys like Jared and Leland that can force Tampa Bay to work, I think that's something that the tape is probably going to get out to the rest of the USL Championship if you guys keep having results like this.
No doubt, and I think not just the two centre backs. I think you look at the fullbacks, Logan and AJ. They've been playing almost as wingers and pushing forward and giving the opposition team a lot to think about. We certainly had them on the back foot a lot of the game last week, and the strength of the two centre backs it comes from them. And we talked the other week, Joe Kuzminski coming back in goal, another player with a lot of experience, and I think you can tell that there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of confidence amongst the team.
And at the same time, you have younger players who aren't intimidated by their surroundings, and they can go up against that veteran side and sit there and go, yeah, it's like, all right, I know what I'm going up against, and they're not freaking out about the fact that this is a team that's ahead of them in group, and it's a game that means a whole lot. They're keeping very calm and very focused at the task at hand as well.
No, absolutely, John, and I think you extend. We talked about the back four, back five there, and you look into the midfield areas. You've got Robbie Crawford, who's come with a vast amount of experience, and I think that that's gone throughout the team. And Zeiko, who got the goal, there's another player who's played at a very high level and continues to play for his country. And I think we have just as much as experience as anyone throughout our team. With some of the younger players sprinkled in there as well. So I think a lot of that comes from them.
Still have a match in hand, and a couple of matches in hand as you and I are talking leading into the weekend against Tampa. When you see the guys, how do they not get wrapped up in scoreboard watching, or is that an inevitability knowing that they have a task, they're trying to do something about it? Is scoreboard watching something that you kind of acknowledge is there, but you don't get focused in it? How do you stay focused on the task at hand on the whole, knowing that you're chasing Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I think the first thing is that the task in hand is very much in our hands. We're not, Tampa get a 95th minute winner last night, but it would have been a bonus. It wasn't something we were counting on. If Atlanta had taken some points off Tampa, so we all know it's in our hands. We're 6 points behind, 2 games in hand, with Tampa to play as well. So, yeah, I think you can look, but not get too... You're not relying on anybody else. You're relying on yourselves, and I think that's an important place to be in at this moment in the season.
Are you, as someone who is not a part of a starting 11 or a game day roster, sitting there and circling that last game of the regular season already and knowing that that's probably an inevitability?
I think we went into last Friday, knowing, if the result didn't go our way last Friday, that game would have been, wouldn't have been as meaningful. But obviously having won last Friday, you're looking at that October 3rd date as potentially, will we be at home in the playoffs or not? We certainly don't want to count our chickens before they're hatched or our eggs before they're hatched, should we say? But at the same time, we are a long way ahead. You start thinking about the playoffs, and as you said, someone who's not in the team, you are looking at that date, and it should be a great game either way.
You mentioned those not in the team, but you also got to have 250 fans in the door, and that obviously is very, very special with everything that has been trotted out this season by the Charleston Battery. What was it like to see 250 in the door this time?
It was great. Again, we've talked about this as the numbers gone up over the course of the weeks. It was good. It was a little bit more noise, I suppose, and you can certainly sense in a game of that that magnitude of what we're playing in. You like to feel that the fans help the players get across the line. We'll be going to 350 this week. We've gone a little bit more. We've got approval from the state to go that high, so we're excited to let some more in, and hopefully, all being well, we'll do even more so on the last regular season game the following Saturday.
How deep are those conversations, and how consistent are they when it comes to, hey, we would like to do this, we'd like to expand the folks that walk in the door? Is it constant conversations with the State Department of Public Health, local officials? What are those machinations for those that don't get to see them?
I think the local officials and the state is more, once we decide internally this is what we want to do, we'd look at, we looked at the game, we talk internally during the game, after the game, before the game, where could be the problem areas, how do we make sure people are socially distanced, how do we make sure people continue to wear their masks even though they might not want to, and we're complying everywhere, all the boxes are checked that we've said to the state we're going to do by letting people in. So we then say, look, okay, we think that went well, we can tweak this area here, we can have another 100 in here, we think they're doing it safely, or we know by doing it safely, and we've constantly erred on the side of caution, and then once we decide that's what we want to do, we then get the approval from the state and the local authorities.
How satisfying is it when a plan comes together, for lack of a better phrase, with all of the work, and I know that it is an incredible amount of work, to make sure that even 100 fans can come on the door, 200, 250. When you have everything come together and you have it come off the way that it has so far, how satisfying is it for a staff to see it come to fruition in front of you?
Yeah, incredibly satisfying, John, and coupled with the success on the pitch, I think it's been a very, satisfying to date season, even though it's probably the most unusual season in the history of the club, and with what's going on. So incredibly satisfying for the people that work with us day in, day out, and we're a smaller staff than in recent years because of what's going on, but satisfying for those people that are getting to put this event on.
Another go around with the Miami FC, using the proper article. It is not a or an, it is the Miami FC, coming up on Sunday at Patriots Point. What's it been like to have the 6 o'clock start times, the Sunday start times, the non-traditional start times of a 7 or a 7:30? What's it like to go to these other time frames?
Yeah, I think we're trying things out. I think a lot of this, and just to give you a bit of background on it, a lot of it came from College of Charleston commitments when we were putting the dates together, and they were hoping to play their full season with the men's and women's program. So we said we've got a degree of flexibility. We're in a new venue. We want to try things out, and a Sunday 6 o'clock kickoff. Let's see how that goes. Bearing in mind we were hoping, probably when we first said it, that we'd have a decent number of fans in, some of which would be school children, and we want to make sure that they're getting back home to be able to get up in the morning a reasonable hour. So that was what the trial was there. We did some of this at the old stadium of MUSC last year. We found some Sundays, were favourable. We're fortunate looking at the forecast this Sunday. I think the remnants of the hurricane have gone through, but not only that, the temperature dropped significantly. I think we're in the 70s for the first time. So that'll be great as well. That I think it'll be a good environment, a good atmosphere, and good weather for hopefully a good game.
All right, so now let's go and discuss things with West Ham, because you know that you can't escape that, especially now that we're in the Premier League season. It's been a busy week, and it's going to be another busy week after you and I talk leading into next time. Lost to Newcastle 2-0, but you knock off Charlton 3-0 in the second round of the EFL Cup. Yeah,
I think if I'll say I've been a long time West Ham fan. If we hadn't have beaten Charlton convincingly, I think it would have been a dour week. It was a disappointing performance at home to Newcastle, and lots of things have been said. No money spent on players. Diangana going out of the club, the academy graduate player that would have been felt like a new player. A lot of disappointed people, but as West Ham often do, they give you a glimmer of hope, and I'm sure it'll come crashing down when we play Arsenal at the weekend. But that's just me being a pessimistic self.
I was going to say, with Arsenal coming to town, with Mikel Arteta, with what he did last season, it's probably going to take another year for Arsenal to get to where he wants it to be as a club and how they're playing on the pitch. I know that down at the bottom of the table, towards the bottom of the table, after one match, this one's going to be a tall order for you.
Yeah, I think not only this one. I think you look at the next set of fixtures for West Ham. It's going to be difficult all round. It's hard to see where the next point's coming from, but that's often when West Ham surprise you. They two good performances against Chelsea last year. You wouldn't have seen those points coming. So you never know. There's always a little bit of hope, but as the song goes, just like my dreams, they fade and die. So we'll see.
And there's also news that's come across the pipeline this past week. Is there any truth to the rumor that you were part of the consortium that has either put the $350 million or £400 bid together to buy the club?
I can put those rumours to bed now. It's nothing to do with me.
All right. We will keep an eye on.
Well needed.
Yes, we will keep an eye on that as well. Mike, as always, thanks for hanging out with us for another round of Special K. Good luck this weekend on multiple fronts on Saturday afternoon with your Hammers, with the match coming up against the Miami FC. Thanks for hanging out with us, as always, for another round of Special K.
Thanks, John. Greatly appreciate it.
When we come back, Player Spotlight, you're listening to Charleston Battery Weekly. OSG Sports and SDH Networks will be right back after this.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Georgia did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolensky of Apolensky and Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
We know that every driver is different, and a one-size policy does not fit all. That's why Country Financial offers a variety of discounts, so you get the coverage you need and the savings you deserve. From good driver to good student, multi-policy to multi-car, we've got a discount to suit every driver. Call Jason Wright at 678-568-6871 today to see what you could save. On Facebook at Jason Wright Agency or by phone at 678-568-6871. Discounts vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, or Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Welcome back, Player Spotlight now. Time to catch up with Zeiko Lewis, and we're just going to get right into it with the first question with Zeiko. Going back to that game against Tampa on September 11th, the Battery seemed to have the Rowdies' number this year. What's the secret?
We've grown as a team. It's just been growing on each performance, and it's helped us in the long run.
And at the same time, you know, going up against a veteran side, what's the difficulty for a younger team that has some younger faces and things like that to be involved up against a veteran side? What's that yin and yang like with a younger group going up against a veteran group like Tampa Bay?
Well, it's all about balance. So for us, I think our younger players have really taken what we have to, some of the older players have to give to them in terms of knowledge and respect. And I think it goes both ways. So a lot of the older players have complimented a lot of the younger players, and younger players have complimented a lot of the older players. So it's always been a good little balance that we've had to work on in the beginning. I think the little break with COVID helped a lot, being that we had a lot of time to spend with each other. So building actually trust outside of football helped a lot.
I was going to ask about that. How unique was the break for you and for the team from your perspective? Because you're not playing, but you're still kind of around each other, and you're probably Zoom workouts and Zoom meetings and things like that. How unique of an experience was it, and how long did it take you to adjust to this situation that we're still in to a certain degree?
I mean, even now, I think everybody's still adjusting to having COVID here. It's been a big challenge. First, going from playing our first game, getting ready to play our second game against Birmingham, and then all of a sudden the seasons, we don't know if it was the season's canceled or if it's happening. So I think that was a little bit rough for us, figuring out if we were even going to start the season again. And I think that was our biggest challenge, knowing whether or not our season was going to restart or not. But for a majority of the time, we were on Zoom calls. We weren't hanging out with each other, but on Zoom, sometimes people would stay behind afterwards and talk and jack up on each other and make sure everybody was safe and doing what they are supposed to do. I think that was probably the hardest part, was determining whether we was even gonna, I wouldn't say determine, but staying focused, not knowing if we was gonna have a season or not. So I think that was the biggest challenge.
What did you think about the whole World Cup group stage idea that you're in right now and neck and neck with Tampa Bay? When this format came out where it was going to be a 16-game sprint and you're basically in a World Cup group stage, what did you think?
Well, for me and Bermuda, it's always been do or die situations. We always had games where it's you win or you go home. It's just that simple. So for me to be put in a sprint, honestly, is nothing new to what I'm used to anyways. Being in the World Cup with Bermuda in the group stages and stuff, it is going to be difficult because of travel and figuring out if we're even going to be able to leave our teams to come play and what the protocol and so on will be when we return. That's probably going to be our biggest challenge. But for Bermuda in particular anyways, that's nothing new to us. For example, we had to go down to French Guiana once, and Zeiko was prevalent there. We had all these restrictions, and we couldn't drink the water. We couldn't get proper baths. We had to get our baths and then wipe ourselves off with baby wipes if you didn't feel as clean as you wanted to. So dealing with these hard circumstances for me hasn't been that anything new. It's been a little bit different, obviously, for different circumstances. But for the most part, it's just been adapting to the hand I've been dealt. And I think particular Bermudians do really well with that, even though we are considered a little spoiled. Don't tell too many people that.
Do you give advice to the other guys who are going through this with you on the Battery roster? Do you sit there and say, well, okay, well, this may help here, this may help here? Have you been that sounding board for guys who might have had trouble adjusting this whole time?
I wouldn't say it was just me. I think it's been a collective team because not everybody gets along with everybody the same way. So for some people, they get along with others. Some people get along with me better than they do it with others. I try to be available to everybody. But one thing I can always say is that, and I'm sure all my teammates will say that, I'm always me. I'm always there. I'm always there for a good laugh. Try bring spirits up. Make sure people are on top of all this stuff. Some people might not like me at times, but it's not always my job to be liked. So I just want to make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, and not only just doing what they're supposed to do, but happy in the process.
Where do you think you guys are right now? There's a handful of games left in the regular season, and I know that you want to continue to improve your game as the season's going along. The guys want to, and the team wants to. Where do you think you guys are right now as a team with a handful of games left in the season, a couple of games in hand behind Tampa to try to win the group? Where do you think you are right now?
I think we're in a good position. I just feel as though we need to focus on good performances. As long as we have these good performances, the results will take care of itself. But at the same time, I feel as though throughout the season, we've also realized that good performances doesn't necessarily have to equate to beautiful football. Don't have to be pass. Sometimes it takes us, our willingness to win, a little bit more physicality. For example, when we play Atlanta, Atlanta likes to play the ball around. They like to be very methodical, as coach would say. But we're older and bigger, so it's almost as if in those instances we have to show them that, all right, no offense to them when I use this word, but you guys are like little kids to us. Don't get me wrong, they're a great team. They've got a lot of potential and so on and so forth. But me at 17, 18-year-old versus me now, I'm pretty sure I'll bully my 17, 18-year-old, even though he might run a little bit more than me. Might not make the same mistakes that I make now. So I think that's all just been a bit of a challenge, just figuring out how to win games.
And you've got one coming up Sunday night against the Miami FC, and it's a team that kind of thrives on chaos a little bit. They're a veteran side. They want to stretch the game. They want to get you caught in transition opportunities and get you caught up in turnovers and things like that, because they can score quickly, and they've got a guy up top that has been familiar to a lot of teams in this group with Romario Williams. What has study hall been like this time around, getting ready for Miami coming up on Sunday night?
It's been a little bit of a mixture of everything. So, for example, when we played Miami last time, they switched to a 3-back. They hadn't played a 3-back all season, but they switched to a 3-back again. Well, not too often this season, I should say. I haven't watched all the games. But they switched to a 3-back against us, and they were really comfortable in it, and they played really well against us. And in that game, for example, was a matter of toughening out. It wasn't our best performance, but we had to adapt to what was handed to us. Now that we know that they potentially could go into a 3, we've studied a little bit more of them in a 3. We're very comfortable with teams that play with forward on the back. It's pretty straightforward, no matter how you try to spin it, whether it's a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, 4-4-2. Our defensive shape and pressure and attacking style, we can adjust to those little. Switching to 3, it's a little bit of a change for us. And I think originally in the first game against Miami, we was comfortable. They played 4 on the back, and we was all over them. Second game, they played 3, and I think they caught us a little bit off guard. Not only that, I think we just had an off day, playing on turf for the first time for the season, not playing on a turf all season, all year. Kind of played in their advantage, to their advantage. But now that we're home, so we know the surface very well, and we know what they could potentially throw at us. So I think that's a big help for us as well.
And then the other thing that I wanted to mention before we go is that what's it been like to see fans in the stands? I know the numbers have been very small, looking like there's going to be 250 this time around, but what's it been like to get those fans, no matter how limited those numbers are, to have them there at Patriots Point with you?
Well, those 250 feel like a stadium full these days. Not having fans to having fans is amazing. Like, yes, we always knew that they were watching from home, and they were always with us, and they would always send us their support, whether it's through social media or honking when they come across practice or something of that nature. But having them in the stands and putting on a good performance and being able to come over and cheer on with our fans and clap with them afterwards is always a great feeling. So having this 250, hopefully it moves up a little bit more in the future. And as the season goes on, hopefully we keep going further and further in playoffs, and we get more and more wins, and hopefully we get home field advantage, and then we have, by the end of it, more and more fans every game. So they drive us on, they help us, particularly the regiment. You know, they've been very supportive, especially during these times, whether it's been with the Black Lives Matter or even just sending us like a little care package or something like that to the team. They always make sure that their presence is felt, and they've been a great fan base.
Well, obviously they will be there with you at Patriots Point this Sunday, and then again in a week's time after that, Saturday night against Loudoun United for the regular season home finale. Zeiko Lewis, thanks for hanging out with us as always. It's good to catch up with you on Player Spotlight. Thanks for being a part of Battery Weekly. Good luck this weekend. I know that it's going to be a sprint with these 4 matches left trying to get to the top of Group H. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for having me.
When we come back, we'll put a bow on a show. You're listening to Charleston Battery Weekly. You're listening to SDH Networks and OSG Sports. We'll be right back after this.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Georgia did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
Interested in becoming a licensed high school official? Go to highschoolofficials.com to learn more and begin the application process.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolensky of Apolensky and Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
We know that every driver is different, and a one-size policy does not fit all. That's why Country Financial offers a variety of discounts, so you get the coverage you need and the savings you deserve. From good driver to good student, multi-policy to multi-car, we've got a discount to suit every driver. Call Jason Wright at 678-568-6871 today to see what you could save. On Facebook at Jason Wright Agency or by phone at 678-568-6871. Discounts vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, or Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Time to put a bow on yet another show for Charleston Battery Weekly here with OSG Sports and SDH Networks. Reminder, go to charlestonbattery.com for all of the information that you need when it comes to the Battery on a weekly basis. Don't forget, 6 o'clock Sunday. If you can't be there, if you're not one of the 250 that is fortunate enough to get in the door at Patriots, you can watch on ESPN Plus, and you can keep an eye on things that way against the Miami FC in Group H. Remember, a couple matches in hand as Tampa Bay only has 2 matches to go in the regular season, and it looks like that game Saturday, October the 3rd at Al Lang could be for everything in Group H. So the Charleston Battery just trying to keep pace with the 2 matches in hand and make up that difference when it comes to the points in group play. Once again, it is Sunday, 6 o'clock, Patriots Point against the Miami FC, the Charleston Battery, chasing Tampa Bay. Once again, thanks to Zeiko Lewis, thanks to Mike Kelleher for hanging out with us here on the Weekly. Enjoy the match this weekend. It's going to be a big one. Play it safe, everybody. We'll see you next time.